A series win, but no sweep. We are into the second round of the Phoenix Suns coaching search and a major contract handed out in the NFC West. Welcome into the Monday edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can watch the show on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube and Twitter accounts. Chris Schubert with you. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody's having a great start to their Monday. Producer Evan, he is behind the glass. He's taking your phone calls, 480-864-1060. If you want to get in contact with the show, you can do so over there. A lot of fun here today on the program. We should start, though, with the baseball team. And yes, a series win. Yes, a nice end to the weekend with Sunday, but I think we have to talk about Saturday, no?
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
I mean, what more can you really say at this point? Games like Saturday should not happen. And this is now the third variety of this game they've had this season. That Chicago game on a Friday. A week ago, what was it? A week ago against the Dodgers, a 6-run ninth inning. And then whatever we want to call Saturday. 3 times already this season, the Diamondbacks have played a game in which they have scored double-digit runs. And their bullpen has completely embarrassed themselves en route to a loss. Embarrassment is the only word to use to describe Saturday.
Coming into the year, they only had one loss in franchise history where they gave up 11 runs. They have 3 this year, bringing the total up to 4.
They're finding ways to lose. And do I want to start with Saturday's game? No. I want to start by talking about a team that won a series and took 2 out of 3. And overall, you win 2 out of 3 every time you play. You're going to have a pretty good record at the end of the season. That's where I'd like to start. I can't, though, because you missed the golden opportunity on Saturday. You missed it. You let it pass you by. You had a chance to sweep this team. We told you had to sweep this team. We told you with how bad they have played, you cannot afford to drop a game. That was before we saw how Saturday went. 14 pitches into the game, you're down 3-0. You rally in the bottom of the first and put up a crooked number. And then your bullpen once again lets you down. And it was a different cast of characters this time. Familiar faces, but a different cast of characters than the Shelby Millers, Kevin Ginkles of the world. This time, it was Jalen Beeks in the 6th inning, and it was Ryan Thompson in the 7th inning. And as a team, they gave up 8 runs in the final 4 innings of that game on Saturday to miss an opportunity to sweep the Colorado Rockies. And so it goes on our bulletin board. And I think, Producer Evan, that we need to pin this to the board behind you. We have important things up there like the schedule of events that are going on here. We need to add this list, which we are describing as the blown games by the bullpen. This now has, just check my math here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on it. And Saturday's 4 runs in the 6th, 3 runs in the 7th, 1 run in the 9th is the latest example to go on this list. We'll touch on the bullpen a little bit more here in the program. Justin Martinez looks like he's going to come back this week. Going to make some rehab starts down there in Reno. Rehab appearances, I should say. And then he'll rejoin this team. We'll get to the bullpen a little bit later. But you win a series, you take 2 out of 3, and I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. And I know sweeps are hard to come by. And I know it's hard to beat a team 3 straight days. I get all that. This Rockies team has 8 wins all season. 8.
Winning percentage of 0.174.
They win 17% of their games. And it's not just that, I think it would be different if you got blown out. You lost 9-0. All right, you just didn't have your best. I'm still a little annoyed by it. We would still open the show about it, but I can at least wrap my head around you just didn't have your best baseball that day. You were leading this game. You got off to a bad start. You responded. You showed that you could score runs. And for the 3rd time this season, you scored double-digit runs and lost the game. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. This list can't have one of these games, let alone 3 of them. Every Monday in the building, we have a meeting. And everybody, all the major department heads were in this meeting, and it starts off our week. It was the first thing we talked about in the meeting. Now, I'm the only sports guy in the room. There's music stations, a lot of other people in the building. We sat down, and our pre-meeting conversation was about Saturday's game. And somebody in the room said, "You're watching the game, and it's unbelievable. You're just flabbergasted that this could happen." I'm not, because I've seen it already 2 other times this season where this team has scored double-digit runs, and it's still not enough. Why? Because the bullpen remains a problem. The bullpen continues to remain just a wheel. And you spin the wheel, and just like the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes you're going to land on bankrupt, sometimes you're going to land on lose a turn, sometimes you're going to land on the big, the $1,000 space is the big space. And every single night right now, we spin the wheel, and we don't know where it's going to land.
Even my dad, who does not care about the Diamondbacks at all, is texting me about Saturday's game, calling me about Saturday's game. That's the kind of national attention that you do not want. And how do we continue to watch the same movie once a week, it feels like, where they can't get the outs they need. And if they get a bad start, like they did on Saturday, it feels like the game's over. They have the offense to rebound, but gosh, if we have to use 4 or 5 bullpen arms, game over. Can't get the last couple outs.
You can't function as a baseball team if these results are going to become commonplace. And they're commonplace. Not the 14-12 nature of the loss, but a loss in which we get to the moment the starting pitcher is out of the game. You are worried. You're doing the math in your head. You're trying to figure out how many outs does this team need, who's available, who worked the day before, who do they have, who do they not have. And you're in your head. You already know how this story's going to end. You already can see the script. And that's a bad place for a baseball team to be, where as fans, we're watching this team play, and we can see the writing on the wall. The door swings open, a reliever comes out, and the worst part about it is it's every single reliever. Jalen Beeks, I can think of a couple of examples of where he's given up a big lead this season. Ryan Thompson, I can think of a couple of examples where he has given up a big lead this season. Shelby Miller, Kevin Ginkel, even Justin Martinez struggling in that game against the Mets that ended up landing him on the injured list. Every single high leverage arm they have has danced with disaster, and they've busted at the blackjack table. Every single one of them. And so you are just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're just waiting for the disaster to come in. And you're not surprised when it does. You're not surprised when that crooked number goes on the board. And that's the worst place for a baseball team to be, because you know what? Now it doesn't matter how many runs you score as an offense. It doesn't matter how good or bad your starting pitching is. They got a brilliant outing yesterday from Merrill Kelly. We would all agree with that, right? Brilliant from Merrill Kelly. It's 1-0. You were worried for those last couple of outs. You know that one swing ties the game, and you've seen this bullpen give up that one swing. The Rockies hit 4 home runs on Saturday, 2 in the first inning off of Zach Gallen. As a team, you are not playing complementary baseball. We talk in football about a complementary football, a good defense to go along with a good running game to help you control the time of possession. The Diamondbacks are not playing complementary baseball. And where they are faltering the most right now is their bullpen can't protect a small lead. Their bullpen can't protect a medium-sized lead. They are not playing complementary baseball. And so every night we're going to continue to spin this wheel. Every night we're going to continue to wonder if this team has the arms. And we'll talk about Justin Martinez returning later on and whether or not he's going to fix all this. But it is a revolving door of chaos right now, and not the good kind. Not the kind that we have come to expect with this baseball club, that you expect with Corbin Carroll, that you expect with Ketel Marte. There's a good type of chaos that this team has going for them at times. Right now, this is the bad kind of chaos. And I'm sorry if people are upset that this is where I'm starting today, but you know what? You need to sweep this baseball team. You want me to take you seriously? You went out and spent money on Corbin Burns. You went out and told us to forget about last year. This is a better baseball team. I said that this is a more talented baseball team than it was a year ago. And it is. On paper, it is a more talented baseball team. Then you got to show it. You got to put the stuff on the resume. And right now, the resume is littered with games like Saturday. It is littered with a bullpen meltdown. 6 of them, to be exact. 6 bullpen meltdowns so far this season that we put into the bucket of a full-blown meltdown that led to a loss for the Diamondbacks. 6 of them. You want me to take you seriously as a team in the National League? You can't have that on your resume. You can't go into October baseball with me wondering if you're able to get the final 9, 6, 3 outs of a baseball game. You will be doomed in the playoffs.
How do you beat a team that in their head just goes over there and says, we got to get to the 7th. Once we get to 7, we'll get our swings. You could have a dominant performance, but with the other dugout thinking, we get to the 8th, I like our chances. It's hard to win.
You get to the postseason, and what does everybody say when teams have elite bullpens? They make a 9-inning game a 3-inning game. If you don't score in the first 6 innings against teams that have elite postseason bullpens, you're screwed. You're going to lose. If you don't have a lead going into the last 3 innings, you are not going to win. The Diamondbacks right now, teams will be licking their chops to get to this bullpen. And I don't know if there's an answer right now. And so, yeah, I am going to harp on a loss like Saturday because it could be the difference. And not only could it be the difference, even if it isn't and you get into the postseason, we're going to remember these games. We're going to remember this list when we get to the end of the season, and we're going to go, okay, which bullpen is showing up tonight when we take on the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets, the Cubs, whoever we're facing in that postseason series? Which bullpen is going to show up? And imagine you find yourself in a wild card series where it's 3 games. Short sample size. So that's why games like Saturday matter. That's why meltdowns like Saturday make you want to rip your hair out. You can't have it, and you can't have it against that team. A team that has 8 wins all season. You cannot lose that game to that team. I don't care how poorly Zach Allen pitched. And trust me, we'll get to that here today on the show. I don't care how poorly Zach Allen pitched. You take the lead in that game, you have to have a bullpen that can nail down that lead. And you didn't. And it cost you an opportunity to sweep. It cost you a chance for us to open today's show and talk about a team that had won 4 in a row, leading into an important series with the Dodgers. And instead, we are relishing a missed opportunity by this ball club. And they have nobody to blame but themselves. That is a self-inflicted loss on Saturday, one of many so far this season.